All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So another practice officially in the books. Aaron Glenn just wrapped up his press conference. Of course, that'll be listed down below in the description box. But man, what a huge practice, according to reporters, from Justin Fields. In the words of Zach Rosenblatt, Fields is having the best practice of camp, spraying the football around, getting multiple guys involved. Awesome. That is awesome. We're going to dive into it. But first, we have to talk about like the injury update. So John Simpson, no-go. Quinnen Williams dealing with the calf, also no-go. But Braylon Allen was back. He did miss 2 practices, plus had that off day in between. But he seems totally fine and good to go. And coming into today, I was hoping for a little bit more from the offense, right? Just a little bit more energy, maybe a little bit more success, overall efficiency, because supposedly the last 2 practices, according to reporters, were a little bit hit or miss. But that's exactly what happened. Again, Justin Fields was the standout. Justin Fields was the talking point. I mean, all morning, it's just post after post after post after post from these reporters, Zach Rosenblatt, Rich Cimini, Nick Faria, about different moments where Justin Fields made a play, threw a touchdown, or, had a really impressive throw. Now, I will say it looks like he ended the practice on a little bit of a cold streak, 5 straight incompletions, but hey, it is what it is. Take this day as a W. You got to start stacking days, and it's really encouraging, right? It's really encouraging to see a day like this, because in training camp it's always so tough. I mean, first things first, like you're basing it off of what reporters are saying, and then secondly, it's team versus team. It's the Jets literally practicing against the Jets. It's not Jets Giants, not Jets Eagles, Jets Packers like we're going to see in the preseason. Once those games start rolling around, then it's like everything is fully greenlit. I really want to see these guys flying around, because with these training camp practices, again, because it's Jets versus Jets here, whenever one player has a standout moment, great catch, touchdown, someone runs someone over, there's always this negative kind of side of the coin too, where, oh man, that corner just got worked, or that linebacker just got trucked over, whatever the case may be. So I can't wait for those preseason games. It's freaking August 8th, August 9th, I think, is the first game against the Green Bay Packers. Jets at Packers, 8:00 p.m. I also believe it's on NFL Network, if I'm not mistaken. But man, it's going to be a crazy weekend. Man, football's back, man. Jets football's back. Let's freaking go. But to kind of go back to Fields here, I think really the question that a lot of Jets fans have isn't, hey, is Justin going to be this top 5 quarterback? Is he going to turn into the next franchise quarterback? Of course, that stuff would be awesome. But I think really step one is, can he be consistent? Can he be efficient? Can he just run the offense smoothly, right? Where there's not these hiccups, there's not these moments of, oh, what are we doing here? Not these, head scratching throws, head scratching reads, head scratching sacks. He's not going to be perfect. Once the regular season gets here, he will throw picks. He will get sacked. It's bound to happen. Again, Justin Fields is not a top 10 quarterback at this point in time, and quite frankly, never has been. Although as a runner, he is a top 5 quarterback. But again, I think really, can we just get consistent, efficient play from Justin? At times he struggled with that throughout the course of his career, right? Specifically in Chicago. But, if he could do that with the Jets, if he can take another step in his personal development, I think we could actually get some pretty good quarterback play. And, if you just I think this is really important to do. If you put yourself in the mind of the defensive coordinator or defensive-minded head coach, whichever, right? Whoever is going to be calling the defense. And of course, right, it's easier when you actually are thinking about a specific team with a specific style of defense where you're thinking about the players in the scheme and matchups and everything. But overall, just blank slate defensive coordinator, you're preparing for the Jets. What do you have to prepare for? Well, of course, we know that this team wants to run the football. We know that they have a wide receiver, one in Garrett Wilson, and we know that they have a pretty dynamic, pretty young, talented tight end, who we're going to talk about here in a second, in Mason Taylor. Then you look at the quarterback position in Justin Fields. We all know he could run. We all know he can move. We all know he could extend plays. We also know he has a pretty good arm, right? I don't think the Jersey weather, the cold, the wind, the rain is really going to affect Justin all that much. I actually think it kind of bodes well, right? Because those legs can really be shown off here and really impact the running game. So again, you have a clear-cut wide receiver one, you have a young tight end, a stable of young running backs, an offensive line that I feel like, quite frankly, has top 12 potential here, and a mobile quarterback. Wide receiver two, still up in the air. We'll see what happens there. It's looking like it's going to be Josh Reynolds at this point. But, it's August 1st. A lot can change before the start of the season, which is in September. But I think the X factor is Justin Fields through the air. It's the passing attack, right? Because if Fields is turning the ball over, if Fields is throwing a lot of incompletions, if he's not on time, if he doesn't know what's going on, that all of a sudden looks a lot different going, like if you're, again, the opposing coach, if that quarterback is just having a tough time through the air consistently, it's just a lot easier to neutralize a Garrett Wilson, to key in on the running game, right? Because we're now forcing this quarterback to beat us, and he's not really having that much success through the air. How involved will that young dynamic tight end really be if Fields is struggling to get him the football? So really, for me, step one is creating an environment where Justin Fields can be consistent and efficient, putting balls in play, keeping the clock moving, picking up first downs, of course, utilizing his legs, but through the air, really making sure that he understands where he needs to go with the football, making sure that the targets are where they need to be. And it seems like Tanner Engstrand has a really, really good feel on how this offense should look, how this offense should run, and overall just having a solid blueprint offensively. But of course, we have not seen it in the regular season. So consistency, efficiency. If we could just get the same numbers from Justin every single week through the air, he's efficient, I think this offense is actually going to be pretty damn dangerous. Not saying, it's on par with Cincinnati where they're hanging 38 every week. I just feel like it's going to be tough to stop. Right, ground and pound, the clock is going, the opposing defense is tired, it's beat up, and then all of a sudden, if the Jets are going on these 9-minute drives, these 8 to 12-minute drives, like all of a sudden the opposing offense has to trot out onto the field, and there's a sense of urgency, like, hey, we got to get in the end zone. We got to make something happen here, because what if they go on another drive like that and score? Down 14-0 with all this time gone, with showing no signs of stopping the opposing offense. Like, yeah, we now have to start increasing the urgency. We got to maybe throw a little bit more. Now, all of a sudden, that opens the door for potential third and longs and turnovers and whatnot, mistakes. So, bottom line, loving what I'm hearing here from Justin Fields. Now, speaking of the quarterback position, Tyrod Taylor, another impressive day. In the event that Justin Fields were to go down with injury, I know no one wants to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it, but you kind of have to, because this team has just mismanaged injuries so poorly in the past. Not with this regime, with the previous one, but still, you got to have that solid backup. I'm thrilled that Tyrod just gives you the steady hand at the backup position. That's great. We've talked a lot about it. Young players stepping up today. Also, one of the bigger takeaways. Mason Taylor continues to impress, continues to take steps in the right direction. Awesome, right? He signed his rookie deal late. Pads come on. All of a sudden, he's getting better and better and better. Absolutely awesome. Number two, Arian Smith. Arian Smith made a couple plays today, including one long touchdown pass from Tyrod Taylor. But I think, to my knowledge, this is Arian Smith's best day of practice as well. And then I also want to mention Qwan'tez Stiggers. I think it was Rich Samini who reported that he picked off Tyrod Taylor in the end zone. And Stiggers is someone who I liked last season. I loved what he was able to do in the CFL. He seemed like he had a big backing coming into the league, like, hey, this guy can play. This guy, he's not just going to be a one and done type of player. He can really stick around. And, obviously it was the Saleh Ulbrich defense that he was chosen to participate in. Different style here with the Jets. So this is someone who I'm pulling for. I'm really hoping he does make the cut, because if he can show the ability to play in the Saleh, zone heavy defense, plus the Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes style of defense, where there's a lot of press man coverage, and he's only entering year 2, plus you throw on top of it his resume coming in to the league from the CFL, where he already has a ton of good tape. out on display. I think, yeah, this is someone who I just would definitely want, not saying as a starter, but just as a solid depth option. Really hoping that Stiggers makes the team. But corner is a pretty deep, it's a deep room, right? Azareye'h Thomas, third round. Brandon Stevens, free agent acquisition. He's been a standout so far through these most recent camps. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Fields, Arian Smith, Mason Taylor, Qwan'tez Stiggers, all standout moments. In some cases, they were the biggest storylines from the day. So yeah, thanks so much. And as always, go Jets.